the Afterthoughts podcast. Our hosts are doing their part. Are you? Join them today as they talk about Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more?
You're about to.
Yeah. Yes, you are going to know more whether you'd like to or not. No, this is the Afterthoughts podcast. We will listen to something and then give you our thoughts afterwards. I'm your host tonight, Ryan King. We are going to talk about Starship Troopers 1997. Before we get into that, though, introduce our other hosts. John Garcia.
Hey, happy to be here and doing my part, obviously, for the country and the great of humanity. I know that we are all here with a unified mission to obliterate the other podcasts that are launching their episodes at us. They started this fight, and we're going to finish it.
That's right. Yes, complete and utter destruction is the only solution.
We won't stop until they're afraid.
Yeah. Also joining us, Michael Dixon.
Yes, even though those podcasts are located light years away and would have to have incredible accuracy and think about this millennia in advance to hurl asteroids at us, we know it was them, and we're going to burn them all. The only good bug is a dead bug.
Yeah, I watched this with Logan, and I asked him if he thought the bugs could do the math required to fire something that far and nail another planet.
Did he say yes?
I have my suspicions about what starts the war.
And they bounced it off of a spaceship, so they were like really showing off, ricocheting it off of a moving target. Yeah,
that's true. I think if they had aimed it perfectly and then it even just slightly touched something, over time, that would cause it to
Earth would never even know that it had been fired at them. It would be so far away. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to our theories on the meteor. But we're going to talk about 1997 Starship Troopers starring Casper Van Dien.
There is a cause worth fighting for. But in the future, the greatest threat to our survival will not be man at all.
Kid, what's going on? War! We're going to war!
Now the youth of tomorrow must travel across the stars to defend our world.
We are a generation commanded by fate to defend humankind.
Everyone fights, no one quits.
We are going in with first wave. You smash the entire area. You kill anything that has more than 2 legs. You get me? We get you, sir!
TriStar Pictures takes you to the front lines of the next frontier.
Kill them all!
Starship Troopers.
Paul Verhoeven, known at this point for RoboCop and Showgirls.
Total Recall.
His 1997, and Total Recall, yeah. His sort of third sci-fi flick here. The movie came out, it's a satirical, but not everybody got that at the time or even still today. And so I think that's one of the things to talk about for sure is the impression that people got of this movie. And it's a satire. I'm not going to say like, is it a satire? It's a satire. And if you're not getting that it's a satire, I don't know what you're missing. But yeah, I don't know how many times I've watched this. I do really enjoy this movie. I'm really happy to talk about it. But yeah, let's, John.
Yeah, Starship Troopers is, I hesitate to say one of my favorite Paul Verhoeven movies because they're all so good. Except I didn't see the one with the nuns, whatever the fuck.
Oh, the sexy nun movie?
Yeah, the sexy nun
Benedetta?
movie. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I've seen a lot of Paul Verhoeven's work, and I really enjoy what that man does. Starship Troopers I remember seeing as a kid, which I don't think you're supposed to, but like, I remember it being on VHS, and my dad was like, yeah, it seems like a good action movie I can show you. And I don't remember any of like the bits of the lead up to like the bug war sequences. Like I don't remember the in between where they're training.
Bet you remember that shower scene though.
Somehow I don't. Really? Yeah. I think that I was way more fixated on like the bug killing aspect. Like I remember the bug eating a cow, and I remember them dissecting bugs. This movie's fucking crazy and just wild in the way that it was made. I love that it makes so much sense to me that people back then were like, is this satire or not? Because they must have been like, I think we're all just as dumb as I was, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, like I do remember the brain bug sucking out a dude's brain and me being mortified. And when they said that this is where everything twists, because when they said that it was afraid, that's when I was like, hell yeah, it is. And that, I think, cements this as like perfect parody of propaganda. And like, as a kid, I bought into it so hard. And as an adult, it is really funny to like piece apart all the different pieces that are like tongue in cheek. And I thoroughly enjoy it. It's melodramatic. It's cheesy, and it has the right cast for what it's trying to do. It's just a fun, wild time. And yeah, I'm glad that we got to watch it again. It's been a while. I watched it with Sasha, and she was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't remember any of this happening. And it turned out that most of the movie, she was remembering Starship Troopers 3, which we watched last year. And she was like, where's that one bug that's the size of a planet? And I was like, that's Starship Troopers 3. We don't talk about it. It's fine.
The Death Star bug.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the tonal dissonance to the other Starship Trooper sequels, which I'm sure, John, we can touch on. But if you watched them out of order, if you watched a sequel and then went back and watched this, how you're like, this is not what I wanted. It's the same thing if you watch Jarhead 2 and then you watch Jarhead, you'd be so confused.
Oh, yeah. You'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to watch the original that inspired all this kick-ass shit. And then you're like, what the fuck?
Now I feel bad about war.
I would say that this is one of Verhoeven's like less complicated, because it's just like and I don't mean that to like belittle the way that it's crafted, but there is kind of like a surface level satire to it that I think just the whole film acts as a great demonstration of what a propaganda piece is. It's constantly tongue-in-cheek, showing how stupid that kind of stuff is, as opposed to I don't know, something like RoboCop, which I feel like is a great skewering of like American action and the cop mythology, and has a lot of those tongue-in-cheek pieces to it, but it feels more like there's different aspects of society that it's commenting on, and like corporatism and all of that. Starship Troopers is so laser focused that I have always just kind of been like, I don't know if there's like a whole lot of depth to it, but I am really interested to see what we talk about when we're going to discuss it.
Yeah. I don't understand how someone could know that this was Verhoeven and think that this was pro-fascist. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Dixon, how many times have you seen Starship Troopers?
This is my second viewing. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of thoughts on why people don't understand it's a satire. Like, I think there are a lot of reasons why that is. We can get into those later. But yeah, I mean, this was the second time I saw it. The first time I saw it was, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, and it was like late at night, and I wasn't like in the most alert state of mind, and I really enjoyed it a lot more this time. I think just the structure of it is hilarious, all the propaganda footage that's in it. And I mean, kind of part of the reason that people may not realize it's satire is because you're rooting for the bad guys the whole time, right? And it never like gives you perspective of the bugs, and it's basically like, you know, you're cheering on these people as they're doing these horrifying things, but it's playing into all of these tropes that, you know, countries will use to dehumanize their enemies, like calling them subhuman, saying that they all need to die, like a very common refrain among like holy wars and you know, other just regular wars. But I think the way it builds is so interesting, and the fact that he gets you to root for the fascists is kind of brilliant, and a big part of the reason why people don't realize it's satire is because they're like, well, wait a minute, but I was rooting for them the whole time, like that, and the plan works, right? Like in RoboCop, like what they're doing fails, right? It doesn't work, and that like in Dr. Strangelove, it's like it all failed. Like a lot of a, you know, big part of a satire is showing how dumb things are by showing them fail miserably. And this shows it being very successful, which I think is why people kind of have that issue. But this movie is great. It's really well directed. It's really well edited. Like all of the propaganda pieces coming in throughout are just so well placed. I have my issues with the cast. John, you said you think it's cast perfectly for what it's trying to do. I think there are roles where that makes sense. I think the problem is there's just a big gaping hole at the center with Casper Van Dien just really not able to like hold the audience's attention very well. He's not very charismatic. He's not interesting. And it really is a story about his character. It's essentially the tragic arc of a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed high school kid who has to see tragedy after tragedy and commit violent act after violent act until he finally turns into like a soulless, hardened military soldier who just believes that he has to carry out orders at the expense of all of his ideals, and that is the highest ideal that you can aspire to, is to just like follow whatever orders you're told and do horrible things and commit genocide and whatever it is that he's asked to do. And so it's a really interesting story arc for that character that's really tragic. And I think the tone of the film is not tragic, and that's why there's a little bit of dissonance there, which I do think works, but I just wish there was a better actor in that central role to kind of portray that downfall and that journey that he goes through throughout the course of the movie, where Casper Van Dien is already kind of nothing at the start of the movie, and then he's just kind of even less of a thing by the end of the movie. But like there are actors who are kind of doing nothing in a cheesy way, and that's fine. Like Denise Richards and
Jake Busey.
Jake Busey. Jake Busey's actually doing something. He's like Jake Busey looks like the love child of Gary Busey and Dolph Lundgren, and I'm not quite sure how that came to be, but I thought he was great. He's a lot of fun in the role, and like you're not supposed to take him seriously, and you're not really supposed to take Denise Richards seriously either, or the like pilot romance that she has.
I call him Rob Paxton because he looks like Rob Lowe and Bill Paxton combined.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Rob Lowe going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie is great. It's a lot of fun. I do think it would have been a lot better with somebody who was a better actor in that central role, but it's still an excellent movie. And I think just a fascinating way to make a satire where you are showing something successful and having the audience root for the fascists. Just a very different take on it in a way that is going to lead to widespread audience confusion. But like that kind of happens in satires anyway, right? Where like RoboCop, people come out and be like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like, oh yeah. Like, like other satires that criticize fascism, people are always going to come away with that. Like the Scorsese problem where the stockbrokers are renting out theaters to go see Wolf of Wall Street and hooting and hollering and, just missing the point entirely.
Yeah.
That's going to happen regardless. And so I kind of like the fact that Verhoeven was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to lean into it and like really exploit you guys by showing you at your actually most successful, which is maybe the most terrifying version of this. Like fascism that fails can only be so harmful. Fascism that's successful can be incredibly devastating. So I think there's a lot of really interesting things about this film. Hilarious, and the action sequences are great. Like the CGI is very good for 1997. It's 1997 CGI. It doesn't hold up super well, but it looks very good. The effects are great. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I watched a thing recently that was like, why do fascists love Superman?
Yeah.
Right? Like completely missing the point. And it was going over all the like media that fascists talk about being like really great and how every single one of those is like anti-fascist, but they don't see that. They just pick the parts that fit with what they want. The book ending of this movie, starting with the video feed propaganda and ending with the propaganda again, like really, is trying to drive home that like this whole thing is a giant propaganda for this fascist, and it's over the top in a way that comes back around to being funny and sad at the same time, right? That first bit we get where it's like the kid leans out and is like, I'm doing my part too, right? And like you laugh, but you're like, but it's essentially children that are joining at the end, right? We see like these kids joining at the end, right? So that is the ideal. That's, it's funny, but it's not funny.
Also, like they tie in really well with, there's like sequences where they show the media being made in the middle of it that like do a great job of in the middle of like war zones. You're seeing like the journalism quote unquote happening and how that's used and the
it's a bug planet. It's a dead planet.
Yeah. just that. Yeah. Those bits spliced in with the propaganda let you know that's that wink wink. And there's that set decor too. Like as we watched the movie, Sasha remembered more and more of it. And like midway through, she was like, wait a minute. The outfits are really starting to look like Nazi outfits. It's like, yeah, that they'll do that. Like
it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, exactly.
Any of the symbolism that's not fascist is like overly American. That's the other. Yeah. And the opening feed we get, I love they're explaining the bugs to us and their planet and how they now have the defense against the meteors and we're totally winning this war. Cut to massacre on the home planet. But they're totally losing. And the end of the movie, the same thing. We get a feed that's like, now we have everything we need to defeat them, and shows the troops going off. And it's like, that's just that we're always winning. Everything is great. We're doing the best we can. Like, meanwhile, just hundreds of thousands of millions of people are dying like for this cause. So yeah, after that, we meet our characters at school, in a classroom where they're being taught that,
naked force solves all problems.
Yes, force is the only thing that gets anything done. War is the only thing that solves anything. Which is being driven home to them.
Very good. I feel like I love the presentation of that discussion in the classroom, because it's like the movie itself is focusing on Casper Van Dien and his Johnny Rico. I want to call him Johnny Rico because it's just such a great name. Isn't that the character's like actual name in the book it's based on?
It is. Yes, it is also the character in the book's name. But actually, a lot of the names are used the same.
That's great because those names are all really dumb, and I love them. Johnny Rico especially is a fantastic name for it's like
Johnny Rico sounds like an assistant district attorney who works on mob cases.
It's really funny to me that that's the name, because I was thinking about it and I was like Battlefield Earth. Not to compare books here, but L. Ron Hubbard's Battlefield Earth has a main character named Johnny Goodboy Tyler, and that like Johnny Rico's like one hop step away from that to me.
Yeah, not far off.
But yeah, I love the way the scene is set up, because Michael Ironside is walking around and there's not really like a reveal yet of him. Just like Johnny Rico's drawing on like a tablet, fucking him and Carmen, played by Denise Richards, are like kissing in the stars. And then fucking Michael Ironside asks him a question about like whether he understands and knows what being a citizen versus being a civilian is. And he's like, I don't know. I never really like, I know the definition, like the textbook definition. And he's like, but do you like believe it? And he's like, I don't know. Like, oh, okay. Well, like, yeah. And it's like the entire time he's explaining the way that force is used and why force is important. And like, we as an audience, if you're like first seeing this, you're kind of way more distracted by what Johnny Rico is doing, which is just slacking off and being fucking goofy high school kid. And there's sort of like a basic humanity to him, where it's like, yeah, he just wants to go with his girl, like make out with her. He doesn't really care about school or these other things, but like this class is teaching some really heavy fucked up shit.
I love when he's messing around with Denise Richards and kind of not really paying attention. And so therefore you as the audience aren't really paying attention to what the teacher is saying.
Exactly.
And he's going through like a brief history of their society where he's like, as we all know, democracy failed miserably and the military had to take over and institute martial law. And like now we have the wonderful structured society that we have today with the military in control and blah, 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 blah. And like just all this kind of like fascist propaganda that is like the history of their modern fucked up dystopia, all kind of just said in a matter of 15 seconds while you're not really paying attention.
Yeah. And then it's like he's saying it and the entire time he's waving around like an amputated arm. And you're like, okay, well, like that's something to clock.
When he calls on Denise Richards and he just touches her with his stump.
Yeah. And he asks her what the fathers of Hiroshima would think about like whether naked force has resolved anything or whatever. And she's like, I don't know. They're all dead. And he's like, yes, exactly. That's the point. Like, it's just like, it's out of the gate outlandishly asserting that like, this is a society that's quote unquote solved all of its problems using force, but showing somebody who has clearly lost an arm is now relegated to like teaching and the class that's being essentially brainwashed, and the whole time you're just learning it from the kids' perspective while they're fucking like drawing doodles and shit in class. It's like just another day in this fucking society, whatever it is. Yeah.
the adults that we see, because then they also have their science class, and their teacher
Is blind?
clearly is like scarred and blinded from something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy he meets when he enlists, that is like, oh, the mobile infantry made me the man I am today, and he moves a chair back, and he's like missing most of his limbs.
Yeah.
That we see all these adults, and those are the people that are in power positions, because they also mention that in order to become a citizen, you have to join the military and serve in the military, and also to hold public office, to vote. Like, and we later find out, like,
To have kids,
potentially to have
it's easier.
kids,
Yeah.
that people use it to pay for college, which is a real fucking thing. It's sad. That like all of these important positions are behind being in the military.
Yeah. There was also that, like, they make a mention, because we get to see a few of the classes and everything that they're doing. They're also doing like exams and scores to see which military wing they're going to get into, is what it seems like. I know that you can like choose to be a civilian, but it seems like you have to have good scores on certain things to become a citizen in this way. Otherwise you go to general infantry, which Johnny
I mean, they
does,
have
'cause-
like the ASVAB, and they have various like military tests that kind of help pick positions for you. So
yeah,
kind of realistic.
yeah. But then there's like that sequence where they're in the classroom doing the dissection on the bugs, which is just great because they have giant prosthetic, or like the giant practical bugs that they
Yeah.
cut open. So funny
they're
to
just
see.
gross.
Just
Yeah.
Johnny Rico like fucking pulling all the guts out and just handing them over to Carmen, and she's
No,
about to
no
vomit.
gloves, just reaching
Yeah,
in there
he's
and
fucking
pulling
raw
shit out.
dogging this bug.
Some alien species, clearly they've studied them to the point where they know that they are non-toxic and it's not going to cause any problems. But do we think that a blind teacher should be teaching a class about alien species dissection? That seems like it could be a problem to me. Like, how are you going to actually like show the kids how to do this, where to make the cuts, what the organs are? I don't know.
I want to
It seems
know
difficult.
how she got blinded. I want to know which
Probably-
bug acided her.
Yeah, acid from a bug. Yeah, that's exactly.
But yeah, she's talking about the like excellence of the bug, how they've evolved to become like a threatening force and a kill. And it's more propaganda being ingested, where she's like, you can't underestimate these bugs because they're superior to us in many ways, because they're cold and unfeeling, and they're like very tactically minded to save each, like, the community instead of the individual, but at the same time like instilling all the fascist propaganda about unity and needing to like sacrifice yourself for everybody else.
Yeah. Denise Richards is like, but humans invented art and math and interstellar travel.
Yeah.
She's like, but have we evolved for millions of years and, blah, blah, blah,
to
blah.
breed very fast and like have a whole brood of these things and whatever. And that's where it's like the first kind of tip of the hat to the thing. 'Cause you're like, wait a minute, the bugs are launching things over to us and we mastered interstellar travel. Like, what the fuck? How?
Yeah.
This seems like a strange disadvantage that the bugs
It
would
seems
be
like
at.
the humans are the only ones that would have the capability of launching something
Yeah.
at the other party in that scenario.
She does say that they colonize planets by like launching
Their
eggs,
spore.
I guess, at a
Yeah.
planet. Yeah. And we do see them like shoot down. I think that's the other theme that gets missed, is that as much as we keep hearing like, well, they're just bugs or whatever, in response to anyone who says something about, hey, they seem like maybe they're a little bit smarter or they're a little bit better than we gave them credit for. They constantly turn out to be one step ahead of the humans,
Yeah.
and do things that are actually far smarter than we're led to believe as we get in there later and later. Like, they knew to take out the guy with the radio. They set a trap. They like actually coordinate their attacks, with the different
They have
units, so to
ambushes.
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, they understand human anatomy too. Like, they must have studied humans in some capacity. They hold a person hostage. Like, all these things that are like not just mindless, fearless bugs, right? That there's something else, but we also get bought in as the audience into the like, they're just insect. And I love that they call them like bugs or arachnids, and they have nothing. I guess the one kind of looks like beetles, but the rest of them really
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
share anything with it. Like, it's another, like, they give them derogatory names too, right?
Yeah.
There's the ones that they dissect that I don't know that we ever see those in combat, but
we
they're
see
kind
them
of beetly
carry.
as well, but they're not like the big dung beetle things that you see later
Yeah.
in the movie.
The ones they dissect are the ones that I think carry the brain bug. They like carry
Oh.
underneath it or whatever.
Oh yeah,
later.
yeah, mate, yeah. We get a little bit more of like school life at a football game, some sort of bizarre space football.
Some weird
Indoor
like trampoline
football.
extreme like XFL.
Yeah,
shit.
but on a hard court surface. Very weird. No
With,
face
like,
masks.
Barely any protection. Yeah.
That's how you know
Human
it's good.
evolution has gotten to the point where you can just like do crazy flips in the air just randomly, I guess was what's happened there.
Yeah, and it's a co-ed affair as well.
Very progressive stuff.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
That's one of
Yeah.
those things that I find to be an
A
interesting
lady quarterback.
I find that to be an interesting detail of this because you might in like I wouldn't say it's a more idealized or like it's a more simplified fascist picture where you're like I think of like The Handmaid's Tale or something that's like dystopian future where there's a lot of like sexism and
Yeah.
other things. This paints a very progressive picture of what fascism can carry with it, which
Yes.
is like we'll take
Yeah.
all bodies, we'll take anybody as long as they like buy into this, then they get whatever they want, and like we're pushing past that identity bullshit. The one thing that's like not mentioned anywhere in this movie is anything about religion, which I'm very curious about, and I believe
Yeah.
Starship Troopers 3 actually touches on it, which is weird because it had a little like Starship Troopers 3 is not that bad, Ryan, which is surprising. It is not a
Yeah, no,
Jarhead
I've
style,
seen-
but
I've seen
Very
2,
strange.
3, and 4.
God.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I can't believe you went that far. Did you watch the anime series as well?
I did not. No.
No idea there were all these levels to Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, you know there's got to be like a cult that worships the bugs, right? Like in this world somewhere.
That's what 3 is all about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right. All hail the brain bug.
Yes,
The vagina bug.
the very squishy big brain bug,
Yeah.
and its tiny
Yeah.
carpet of other bugs.
Touching on what the sort of like utopia that we're presented, this fascist utopia of pretty Beverly Hills 90210 white people in Buenos Aires.
In Buenos Aires, yeah, very vapid.
Football captains, and then we don't see racism or sexism. We see like a unified government that's not fighting wars or fighting over resources, apparently. But all this society is good at is war, right? That's it. Like they've put aside all these differences in order to just do war, right? That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that their entire economy is built on war. Like it's just one massive military industrial complex, the entire society.
So, like, speaking of
Yeah.
that, do we think that that Johnny Rico's parents, because they seem to be civilian through and through, not a citizen
They are.
at all.
They're rich civilians.
That's what I figured was like rich civilians, which basically you can just
So
be propped
rich
up and used
that
for,
they can buy their kid into Harvard on a 35 math score.
That's pretty fucking
Yes.
crazy.
That's pretty rich and powerful. They may not be able to vote, but they can do a lot of other things.
They can definitely be used for propaganda as well. That's free of charge. But yeah, that's the one thing that I was like, this is interesting because they're definitely rich. You can tell by the size of their house and the
And that
conversation
they go on
have.
interstellar vacations to Zagama Beach.
Yeah, Zagama Beach. I guess they just don't have to vote on anything. They've cushioned up to the fascist machine, and they can just pay whatever money they need to get around in it. And so it's like,
Yeah.
Seemingly this big goal of voting, but it's a military-run government, so voting is meaningless.
yeah.
Right? Like in a true ultimate fascist state, voting is meaningless.
Yes. But they present that as being like the main distinction between it, where it's like, yeah, you can do whatever. And so like Johnny's parents being civilians doesn't really matter. It's kind of, it's really interesting to see that they explain the distinction at the beginning. They explain the textbook definition of it, where like a citizen takes like their serious role in accountability and preserving the state and fighting for humanity and caring about the species. And the civilian is just not ready to accept the responsibilities. And so it's just like two levels of like how brainwashed into things you are, where you're like, you either are in a belief state that you have some kind of power, even as a civilian, that like the state will protect you and you can get around with your money, or that you want to sign up and believe truly in your cause. But both ways, you're fodder for this fucking giant machine that just spans the stars.
Yeah, and we hear some derogatory-ish comments to Rico about just being a rich kid, or that his parents are just like rich, that this not being a citizen is definitely a lower class and put down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yes, his girlfriend Carmen is flirting with the quarterback of the other jump ball team, and it kind of goads Rico into enlisting, I guess, by flirting with this guy and talking about how he's going to be in the military and he's going to be a pilot. And she's already planning to also go join up to be a pilot.
Yeah, there's so much about that relationship that just seems so... See, this is why I think Casper Van Dien is a good choice, Dixon, because this feels like the vapidness of a propaganda film. He is like that incarnate, where like he's got like coiffed hair at all times, and he really can't... He has the melodrama of a propaganda film too, like perfectly instilled. A lot of his delivery and his reactions, and even when he's upset, it's just like this hollow wooden melodrama that is meant to convey to you as an audience member that he's really feeling conflicted about things, but the acting is so poor that it just doesn't get across to you. And so it feels so tongue-in-cheek the way that he's directed and the way that he delivers his lines and like engages with Diz even as a character, because like they have a whole story arc to themselves that like is just completely disregarded later. He almost like he's like a fucking golden retriever in most of the movie.
Yeah,
he's meant to be put up there and be like panting at everything and like excited to do the fascist bidding of his masters. Like, all right, yeah, that's what he loves doing. He's happy at every turn. But yeah, that's what I think, like that, seeing that with him with Carmen and his like initial jealousy and then walking through it, it's just like you can feel Paul Verhoeven guiding you in that way to be like, this is like really what this is going to be about. Like, you don't need to connect to this guy too much. Like, just fucking, you're going to ride this out with him. So you won't be as sad at the end when he's dehumanized completely and completely bought into the machine.
There was so little there to begin with.
Yes.
That's that tragic of an arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does feel like he's an actor in like one of those 1950s like propaganda things with a voiceover that's like, Johnny Rico thinks it's fine to just be a civilian, right? Like,
yeah. They're one step away from having that voiceover every sequence.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Johnny Rico was undeterred.
Yeah, we've also met Dizzy, who was the quarterback on his team and clearly has the hots for Johnny, but he's only has eyes for Carmen, who doesn't appear to have, only cares about being a pilot and nothing else. Mm-hmm. And then his friend Neil Patrick Harris, who is sort of a telepath. I guess we see a little bit that
he can tell ferrets
maybe
to like run up his mom's leg.
Yeah.
He's a fucking sociopath through and through.
What is the card thing that he's doing with Johnny? Because is he like trying to see if Johnny has psychic abilities by guessing what card is there? But it seems to be something they do repeatedly. Like he's like, Johnny's always late when he walks you home searching for a kiss. He's like, always late to this? How often are you doing this? Why are you trying to... Clearly he has no psychic powers. Like I don't know what the point of that was.
I feel like you know what I think that scene, I have a theory that it's Neil Patrick Harris is trying to implant memories into Johnny's head, or trying to he's trying to like telecommunicate, but there's like nothing going on up there. So like
it just doesn't happen.
Because then later he's like, did you tell me where Carmen was? And he's like, that's classified. Because it's like at that point he fucking know. He didn't. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. Who fucking knows? Johnny Rico's got nothing going on up there. So
yeah. I was thinking maybe he's doing it for like science class research lab or something like that could, because he's obviously trying to get high scores in science and go into the like, he goes into the SS. I don't know what he's trying to get into, but
he said he got into game theory or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess it has something to do with that.
All of the world building in this too. Just love the things that everybody throws out. Sagamo Beach, the fucking game theory class, the continued like build out of the different costumes, the people that they mention or the like the places that the galaxy has to see that all just mysteriously end up being blown up at some point.
They do make one mention of religion. I forgot. The Mormons tried to set
That's
up.
right. The Mormon extremists that try to set up their colony on the outskirts,
In
and they
the
learn a
arachnid
terrible
quarantine zone.
They learn a terrible lesson.
It's already been colonized by bugs.
Yes, those are the other pieces of like fucking world building that I love finding out and being like, oh, that's interesting. This is that kind of future.
I like to think that Mormonism is the only religion that has survived in this world. Somehow that's the one that's made it through, and everybody else has become disenchanted and just believes in science and bug killing.
Yeah.
Have to have been. I mean, they're extremists. How else would they survive?
Yeah. I fully believe they got kicked out of Utah and went to that new planet and said that that was actually the promised land, not the previous 2 promised lands.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So then we head to drill camp, boot camp. And I guess our 3 characters, Johnny, Carl, and Carmen, say, we'll be friends forever, right before they go their 3 separate ways.
Yeah.
And we follow Rico to drill camp.
That's like the bookend piece, because that's where it first lays, because they do that at the end to like wrap everything up. They have them back together as friends and everything. And so that's how they're like, you started your war this way and you're going to end it this way. Here we go. Everybody's going to be happy. And so it's like this weird, sappy, fucking saccharine start of a wholesome story that just happens to be going to war, where they're like, well, we'll all meet back here in 10 years and everything's going to be different. And then the rest of the movie leading like up to that point when they bookend it with them doing it again is just fucked up, violent shit that really you should be registering the entire time you're watching is like, this is awful. Like, I think it's like the boot camp is where Johnny, like Diz comes in and joins in. And that fucking commander, the drill sergeant or whatever that's yelling at them.
Love that guy.
He fucks people up just for fun at the beginning, where he's just like, who wants to take me
Clancy
on?
Brown.
Yeah, Clancy Brown.
Yeah, Clancy Brown in a perfect Clancy Brown role.
It's just like, who wants a piece? Like, come at me. Fucking breaks that one dude's arm. Like without fail, fucking throws a knife through Jake Busey's hand.
The enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand.
Which I was like, the bugs have buttons. Like at this point, what are we doing? This just doesn't make any sense. Fights Diz, and for a second, like that's an interesting. Like Diz asserts herself as being, ready and much more. She's much more serious than Johnny Rico is about everything that she does. And so like when she shows up to be like, I'm enlisting in this class, kind of kicks his ass for a second and then gets her fucking neck choked out. I love the little details of like the remaining times you see her in the boot camp. She's got the bruise on her fucking neck.
Oh yeah.
It's just like this sign of like, yeah, they did this fucked up brutality and shit to you, but what are you going to do about it? Like you just carry on and like push forward, and you're being fed into the meat grinder. But yeah, boot camp is just like montage without needing the montage of like all the fucked up shit they do to brainwash everybody before they go off.
There's a lot of Full Metal Jacket in that sequence, and it works pretty well.
And Dizzy switches to purposely be in this group, seemingly to follow Johnny. Yeah. Which then Johnny's upset about, except Johnny joined the military to follow Carmen in the first place, right? Like,
and then Carmen dumps his ass. Like,
and then Carmen dumps him. Yeah, like, well, you're in the enlisted men, and I'm on a captain ship, so I don't ever going to see you again. I guess we should just break up. That's the better way to go.
With
and she is on the ship that also
watching the video with him.
Yeah, yeah. I love when they all kind of just like start to creep out when they realize like what's going down.
Quiet.
Yeah. Lo and behold, the ship that she's on is also the other football captain is on that ship. So our love quadrangle continues. The boot camp, if you look, a lot of the buildings have FTA like written on them. Which is in the military, when they say fuck the army, they say FTA instead. So adding in again to like the satire that's just broadly painted across this.
And more people too, like all of the commanding officers still continue to have like their disfigurations and like all of their limbs are just missing in certain people and whatever else. It continues to permeate throughout. And they're seeing like all these young kids coming in, and they have that sequence. This is also like Rico's arc. I guess you can call it an arc of like when he really gets serious about the military, because up until then he's been kind of a doofy kid who is like, yeah, whatever, I'm just trying to train. I guess I'm in this now and fucking do whatever. And he goes into that military exercise, and there's that farm kid that was like, he's like, I'm just here to do whatever, and he's like, I'm so dumb,
so I don't work on a farm.
My like fucking my helmet, it doesn't fit right, and they like take his helmet off in the middle of the training exercise, and he gets fucking his brains blown out. It was like just such shocking violence when it happens too, that it really does take you off guard, versus later when they're just murdering bugs incessantly. There's a lot of desensitization that's going on, and like you're seeing people get threshed and like ripped in half. But that sequence in the training thing is really supposed to connect you as the audience to Johnny Rico's journey, because he's mortified at what he's done, and then you watch him get whipped for it, which seems like excessive given it was like a live exercise.
Fully an accident.
Totally an accident. But they're like, this is your responsibility. You fucking did this.
Maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't be doing live ammo training exercises with brand new recruits.
Yeah, that's probably a bad call.
Stupid
Also,
kids.
we should like have a helmet check before or something. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And also, the girl that shoots him, she gets like shocked because it's almost like laser tag type thing or whatever. She gets shocked and accidentally pulls the trigger on her gun. She was the one that wanted to be a politician. Like that was her role. She was joining the military to be a politician. And then she gets ejected for...
Hey, if Dick Cheney has taught us anything, you can shoot people that are, allies of yours and still have a wonderful political career.
Yeah, honestly, that brained man should apologize to her for getting in the way of her bullets.
Mm-hmm. I bet Dick Cheney loves this movie.
Totally.
Loved past tense this movie. He's dead.
Yes.
Very dead.
Yeah, he totally loved this.
He's watching this movie in hell right now.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he's watching the sequels because he can't get this one.
He can't get this one.
Yeah.
I do like the gag. The funny stuff in this movie is all like sad. But they've asked for the medic, like after he breaks the guy's arm and he hits Jake Busey with the knife, they yell for the medic, and then Johnny grabs the guy whose head is completely
brains are just out,
blown off, absolutely blown off, and yells for the medic.
It's just like, I don't know what you think he's going to do.
Hey, you saw their technology where, Johnny has his leg cut open and they put him in some sort of liquid tank that he can just hang out in, and they slowly stitch him back together and he's totally fine. Maybe they have a head reassembling machine. I don't know.
They got to pick up all the pieces. Yeah.
You got to get every single one.
Yeah, the rebrainer. That's what they do.
We also get this shower scene at the boot camp. Which I do feel like it's something that gets talked about a lot. So we have a mixed shower where we just go in and everybody's naked and we just follow them just having a regular conversation, asking why they joined the military, talking about like this is where we learn like one of them wants to have a baby, one of them's going to Harvard and is using this to pay for it. And it's just I like that it's not sexual, right? Like this is a society that's so obsessed with violence that like they just take showers together. And again, we see like all the different, it's like races, different sexes, just all taking showers, just camaraderie, talking and laughing.
Somebody's ass
and
gets
it's
slapped.
Totally normal.
Just like, okay, sure.
And there's no sexual tension or anything in that scene. But then when Diz says that Johnny joined the military for a girl, everybody's like, "Oh, Johnny has a girlfriend."
It's such a high school thing. Yeah, and then they asked Diz what she joined for, and she just gives a little coy smile. And we're like, "Oh, okay."
I know that somebody's like, "Were you that girl?" And she's like,
"Yeah."
I don't know. Yeah,
definitely not.
Yeah, sorry,
poor Diz.
Most tragic character of all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Diz is totally a tragic character in this. I did learn that for that scene, only like Verhoeven sent out everybody but the cinematographer, and it was just him and the cinematographer and then the actors. And then, he's getting everybody ready, and they're like kind of reluctant about the scene and getting naked for it. And Dina Meyer, who plays Dizzy, was like, "Oh, if it's so easy, why don't you just take your clothes off, Paul?" And he was like, "Okay." And so he got naked and he made the cinematographer get naked and they filmed the scene with everyone while they're all naked. But it was like, it did like get them all laughing and get them all comfortable enough, right? To just be like, all right, okay, fine, fuck it. And just film the scene and it worked.
What a pro.
But yeah, I like that he was just like, okay, just boom, pants down, right? Let's
Paul's
go.
Verhoeven. Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that's also when you learn like all of those other aspects of the world building, like the whole reason that they join up to become citizens and the different regulations on different parts of their society and having kids and not having kids, getting into college, all of the things that are guarded by not being part of the military, not serving. And they also talk about like you can serve for a period of time or you can go career. And it really just sounds like no matter what, you usually end up going career.
Yeah, when they do their swearing in speech, they're like, I swear I will serve for 2 years or as long as the military requires.
Yeah.
That's a bit open-ended.
Yeah. Just gotta read the fine print on this, but I
Yeah.
guess there's none.
We don't see any retirement ceremonies, just burials.
Just shot into space.
Yeah, shooting coffins into space.
Yeah, so after Johnny is whipped, he decides, even though he could stay in and was just punished for it, he decides to quit. I guess this disillusioned him somehow to have a friend get shot there, I guess. But as he's leaving, everyone starts running over to a telecast where we find out that this meteor has hit Earth and caused massive destruction. And it just happened to nail Buenos Aires.
You forgot about the phone call with his parents.
Oh, yeah. When his parents were like,
yes.
that's
Wow,
how he
he's
found
talking to
out.
his parents. That's right.
His parents suddenly go, it's really dark. Maybe it's rain.
Must be a storm coming through.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing to have had the phone call and then go over and find out that the meteor hit that.
Oh, my God. Also, like, again, this tears at the theory that they're like the bugs colonize us. They send asteroids to do it, like meteors hit everybody and do whatever. And like, then they get hit by supposedly something, but it's like all of the buildings are still intact and there's a lot of fire that went around and rubble. But like that shit would have leveled a city depending upon what it was. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. And then aren't they supposed to be colonizing? So like, there would be bugs in the city and stuff, like crawling around or trying to do something.
I don't know. Are there bug spores in the asteroids?
They say they are. They say that's how they colonize. And
that's how she mentions that they colonize. She doesn't say that necessarily that they use a meteor. I don't think she explains it, but she says they colonize by like shooting spores to another planet.
Yeah, maybe they don't use an asteroid for that purpose, just for blatant destruction.
Yeah.
I would totally buy into the theory that the military murdered the Mormons and fired an asteroid.
I agree.
Home
I
planet.
100%. Yeah. I also buy into this.
And I think that at the beginning we hear Michael Ironside saying that like, well, citizens have choice, right? Like that's the other thing. They have the freedom and they have this choice or whatever, but Johnny doesn't, right? Like he has nothing to go back to. Everything is gone. He doesn't really get a choice. And now that it's war, he can't, like you said, the 2 years is up, isn't going to matter. We're at war. They're not, so that no one has choice, right, in this fascist society.
I wonder if they because I was wondering too, if it's like really hard to have babies and stuff, if you have to get licensed to do it and all that other shit, if like they have like rest periods where they're like, we're winning the war. We're now going to like relax and have all of the citizens go back into whatever they're doing and make babies.
We need more,
and then the moment that they get enough headcount, they're like, it's another war and it's happening now. And like, they just continue to push and ebb and flow out into different parts of space.
I'm guessing it's some sort of like Chinese style population control to like make sure they have enough resources for all the people. I'm guessing since they have a fully militaristic society that they're actually not putting a bunch of resources into farming and to make sure that they are like, have sufficient like water and resources for everybody. And maybe that's a way that they
just seize more planets that have resources they need and then facilitate that back in. And they're just,
there's oil on the bug planet.
It's gotta be that or a cobalt mine.
Interstellar stardust that helps you travel to different worlds.
And I would assume all the science advancement just goes into military advancement as well, right? So there's
100%. It's no question.
I want to talk a little bit more about the asteroid hitting Buenos Aires and like the the government explanation for that is essentially, and this is implied, I don't think they actually say this, but Carmen is flying that ship and she's like, I picked a more efficient route for us. And Rob Lowe's like, what? No, there's no way. He's like, you think you can lick my navs? And I was like, well, what now? Think you can do what to my navs? But he's like, oh yeah, I guess you did pick a more efficient route. That's great. And then she's like, oh fuck, there's an asteroid. And they like barely escape and knock off their communications tower. And I'm thinking like, oh, they're fired. Like they changed the route.
Right.
They like almost ran into an asteroid, like almost killed everybody. And the captain of the ship's like, we've got the best damn pilots in the fleet.
I love
fuck?
I guess
are you
because they
talking about?
because they woke everybody up and they moved out of the way just in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It made it
they could have
seem
been
like,
worse, but like she put them in that situation to begin with
In the first place, yeah.
Also-
and then you know saved them from her own incompetence.
Love the detail too in that sequence, because when the command tower falls off, there are like tiny human bodies floating in space that you see coming from it, and they like completely gloss over that. There's like no, we need to count how many people did we lose or any of that. They're just like, thank God you're like really quick with the pilot controls. Like just continue on.
But I guess because they're like, oh, we need to tell Earth that the asteroid's coming. And they're like, oh, we lost our comms. We can't. And so it's implied that it's that asteroid that then hits Buenos Aires. But they also establish early in the film that they have like an Iron Dome scenario where they're just like auto blasting these asteroids out of the sky whenever they come by, and that like it's impossible to penetrate this thing. And so it
that's
doesn't seem like they
after
need
this.
scouting from random pilots to let them know, right? They should be able to intercept it anyway.
So Ryan, that
They
takes
make
place...
one kind of weird thing that at the beginning, the news feed we see actually takes place after this. Because they explain that they have the thing to stop the meteor. They talk about the bug planet, and then we cut to the live feed of the home planet where all the Marines are getting murdered.
Wait, so that means they developed a like system of like orbiting ships with lasers that can knock out asteroids out of the sky at any time in a matter of like what, 3-6 months they developed this?
Because we see Rico's gonna quit. The meteor hits. He joins back up. I do love the scene where he's like, "Is this your signature?" He's like, "Doesn't look like it to me," and rips the thing up. Cut to them on, I guess, like a space station or something, getting tattoos, and he gets in a fight with the other football guy.
Oh yeah, Rob.
But they immediately go from that to the home planet. So seemingly like it's just a few days to a week that they go from that meteor to the other planet, and they've already got a defense up. So yeah, again, it adds to this like lies and propaganda. From the government. I agree.
He's on the video call with his parents, and they're like, oh, hey, it's getting dark out. And then he goes outside immediately, and there's a massive news propaganda going on right away with all of this footage of the burning city that's been edited together and all this stuff. It's like they did that in 5 minutes maximum.
100%.
Yeah.
This is a false flag operation if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Meteor fuel isn't hot enough. It doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel beams.
Buenos Aires was an inside job.
Yeah. And I mean, with the science being all in the military, maybe no one is looking for meteors, because that would be the other thing, is they should know a meteor that large was
doged the meteorology department.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Fucking true. Oh man.
Literal meteorology.
Yes.
Yeah. So Johnny bumps into Carmen on the way to their deployment and finds out that she's with the ex-football guy.
Yeah.
They get sent to the home planet where just immediately they get massacred.
That scene is the funniest shit to me. The massacre sequence when they land on the home planet and
like
the bugs.
Bug
it's like,
D-Day.
It's blue, all blue lighting and that dramatic. All the bugs start killing everybody. But there's the fucking journalist with the camera guy. That sequence made me laugh really hard because the camera guy just keeps going. He just keeps filming everything. And then when he gets murdered, the camera's perfectly positioned for like Johnny Rico to be like, come on, get it. And he's like firing a gun and the camera's still looking at him. And he's like crawling. Even when he gets bit by the bug, he crawls back into frame and it's like doing whatever. And I was like, oh man, this is just perfect setup for the propaganda they're going to show back home where they're like, look at how fucking heroic Johnny is. And that's part of the reason I think they save him. That's gotta be it, because like, he's great on camera, and they were like, we need to save this like crazy hero and put him in this. And like, you too could be this valorous and like really do something right for your species.
He's in one of the propaganda videos later. So they're clearly positioning him as a hero of
when
the
he
war.
inherits Rico's Roughnecks, and they're like, oh yeah, there he is. There's the guy.
Yeah. Get the
I will say
camera on
too that
guy.
there are way too many middle-aged, stocky, white, bald guys in this movie to where, like, I thought the reporter was, I was like, is that the teacher? Or is that the, like, commander guy who's the head of the drill sergeant? Like, that's somebody else. Why is he a journalist now? Like, what's going on? What's the character arc of this guy? And like, finally realized he's just a different guy who looks almost the exact same as these other middle-aged, stocky, white, bald guys.
Can't believe you can't recognize Michael Ironside when you see him or when you hear him.
Michael Ironside and Dean Norris and that journalist all look very similar. Like, if you were describing them to a sketch artist, you would say the exact same thing.
Fascism finds a weird way to like uniformly grow into this. And actually, everybody in this universe turns into stocky, bald white men as they get older.
Plus, when you wear that helmet and the uniform, all you can see is like a little tiny bit of their face.
Yeah.
That's the same face.
That whole disastrous D-Day when they like evacuate, that sequence is also like the first time that you really get to see all of the combat that they've been training up for. You've been seeing the propaganda films where they show the bugs like eating cows and other random shit. The
children doing their part by stepping on bugs on the sidewalk.
I love the sequence where all of the military people are like showing the kids their guns and they're actively letting them handle it.
Just like, pouring bullets into their hands.
It's so fucking great. But that's when you like recognize that this is like really what the threat is, because everything's been building up in the movie and continuing to like buy you into the fascist regime's struggle of like, this is a real threat. And they all land and they're like, it's really quiet and we don't know. And then all of the bugs just come out and there's like massive amounts of them. But even before that, you're seeing like the fucking bugs that shoot like light balls into the air that can like destroy ships.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of like,
it's like shitting fire into the sky.
Yeah, and they
hit the transport.
They also
ships.
established that they have many nukes. Like the rocket launchers are nukes because they're like just nuke them, and they shoot.
Oh yeah, the little handheld.
They
things.
shoot them like right at those two bugs, and you see small mushroom clouds for a second that like boom, and it just like lights up the whole fucking. It's just daylight everywhere.
Those are called tactical nukes, John.
And they
very specific in its destruction.
Sweeping, yeah. And I'm sure that those are definitely tested to make sure that there's no repercussions for any of the soldiers that wield them within proximity. Absolutely no sterility. Yeah, any problem at all.
Yeah.
But it's like there's the military arsenal that they have. There's the military arsenal that the bugs have. You're getting like a great establishment of both sides. And the fact that the bugs have like this overwhelming like strategy is just like constant waves of them. They know the human weak spots because they're like slicing legs and they're like really just doing all of the mangling that is needed to incapacitate the different people. And there's even like a moment where at like one point in time, the bugs sort of seem, maybe I'm thinking of later, they seem like hesitant to do something initially until it's like the troops are the ones that fire first usually. And the bugs are like, all right, I guess we're just going to fuck you up now. Like this is how it's going to go. But I felt like that D-Day thing just established so well what that is, and then slots you right back into what had been established at the beginning, the reporter, and like locks you into that moment. And that's the conclusive bit to that battle is just watching Johnny Rico get mangled and made into a war hero. And now he's going to be healed in his weird, like whatever that Star Wars tank is.
Which he's awake inside of?
For
like
3 days?
Really? He's
or
just
more?
floating in this weird water tank, sucking on an air tube, and they're just like fucking around with him outside of the tank and beating on it and laughing at him. And he's just like, hey guys, I'm hanging out in here.
There's got to be a TV somewhere. That seems boring as shit to be in that tank for 3 days solid.
I'm just shocked he wouldn't be knocked out for that.
It's
also active surgery. Like,
there's just
he could just like touch it. He could cause problems. You know, there's all
That's
kinds
what the
of things.
goo that he's in is for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sterilizing goo.
We also see that their machine guns are really not that effective.
No.
Yeah. They don't do too much.
The bug exoskeleton seems very thick, just difficult to rip through even with a heavy duty machine gun.
You have to. Oh, do you remember when Neil Patrick Harris teaches them how to kill the bugs?
Of course.
And he's just like, all you have to do is aim for the spinal neurosystem. And he doesn't point it out at all. He just fires wildly at the bug and kills it. And then it's like, it's easy as that.
It's like if you take off one of their legs, they're still 86% effective.
Yeah.
And he's shooting it in a cage.
Yeah.
Like just one of the most inhumane, terrible things that you could do to an enemy combatant. And
Yeah.
it's just like glossed over completely, put out as
Fucking
part of
war
a mass
crime.
propaganda video.
It is also the most, it's like the martial arts trope of now come at me with a knife this way. It has that very like, only in this specific scenario, when they're in a cage, can you do this? And like,
I guess then after that, he switches over to the Roughnecks, where we find out they're run by his old teacher, Michael Ironside, who I guess got out of Buenos Aires for the summer and somehow
he did.
enlisted.
Maybe was tipped off.
Oh, he's got a brand new shiny metal arm.
How else would he know? I feel like that's the play is like, all right, here's, as a fascist regime, we install all of our generals and most hardened commanders in different pockets of different cities that are civilian based. We harvest all of the youth to go into our military machine. Take note of all of their civilian parents that are paying money and doing whatever. Then we stage after that some kind of horrible atrocity that then supercharges those kids to go to war for us on some fucking foreign planet. And then we just do it again at some point when we reinstill those same people that are now hardened killers into another
Everybody
school.
gets lazy enough. We do it again. Yeah,
exactly. That's all you got to do. That's the circle of life for this world. It makes sense to me. And Michael Ironside being there when Buenos Aires was unexpectedly destroyed just furthers the point. Come on, this guy. They went to war and he signed up. He was living in that city.
Yeah, I mean, youth indoctrination is a very important aspect of fascist societies.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do it in order to
That's why they
keep
show
it
that scene
going.
of all those kids stomping roaches. That's, there it is.
Well,
controlling
and all the
information.
soldiers that are installed as teachers at the school, like that seems very reasonable for them to do.
Yeah.
Let's see, where do we go from there?
We were at the Roughnecks, and that's
go-
when that's when Johnny is, it's after his like, okay, so we're following Johnny's story here, Ryan. Come on. This isn't.
Right. We follow Johnny. This is
Johnny's
where he starts
healed
getting
up.
promoted for doing.
Yeah, he's a
barely
badass
like he keeps
now.
getting promoted. Yeah.
They get sick tattoos to match together.
He's promoted until Michael Ironside can find someone better.
Yeah. Or you die.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Until you die or I find somebody better, you're promoted to be part of my Roughnecks. And like, he's, they're scouting out a bunch of stuff. And this is when you learn the valuable lesson from Michael Ironside, which is, you got to kill somebody if they get hurt. You just kill somebody. Yeah. Even though Johnny Rico is saved, he's saved by the camera, by the fact that he was on screen and can be used as a war hero. That is probably the only reason that Johnny Rico is saved and not left for dead. Mm-hmm. And here we have like they're in the canyon. This is where the bugs plan their assault because Johnny Rico is looking up in the hills and he sees them and
like kind of peeking over.
Yeah, it's a
and-
great fucking set too. Like just a great shooting location. It really has that vibe of like something's off and this is all these weird little like stalactite looking rocks or whatever. And the guy's like, I can't get any signal. And Michael Ironside's like, well, go up top, make a call from there. And he like crawls up and immediately gets fucking stabbed by a flying bug, which they fly now. And
that's what Logan said.
and he's like screaming out in pain as this bug like stings him. And then Michael Ironside takes a sniper rifle, has the bug in his sights, doesn't shoot it, shoots that man square in the chest to kill him. And like they don't even, I think that they handle the bug after, but like he just hands
the bug gets
gun
away.
Yeah, he just hands the gun
flies
back.
away, yeah.
And
he's like, you do the same for me.
I'd expect any one of you to do the same for me. And Johnny Rico's like, all right, gotta note that down. Kill somebody if they're in trouble or mangled or whatever. Which it's like, yeah, we don't tolerate weakness here unless it's absolutely essential that we get you back for some reason. Like, I'm guessing Michael Ironside was also on-camera war hero or some shit for the propaganda. Who knows?
They had said in his backstory he had previously fought and a bug got a hold of his arm as they were like getting on a drop ship, and he just told him to close the door.
There you go.
And that's how he lost his arm.
And everybody around him is like, he saved my life. And they're like, yeah, he saved my life too. And like,
He
his
killed
whole
my friend, but he
reference-
saved me.
Yeah.
It's just
He was going to die, though, so I guess it's okay. Yeah.
everybody's like, all right, that's just how it goes.
It's just a scratch on his. He's going to be fine, man. Nope. He's done. He's not
That's-
going to make it. We
Yep.
got to kill him.
And that's like when they kill that guy, and then they kind of learn from there that there's a big bug operation on this planet.
So
and
yeah,
it turns out
they had gotten called down from a distress signal.
that's right.
They camp out, and he brings them all booze.
Yeah. One
And-
keg of beer and the entertainment is a briefcase full of balls and one green see-through violin.
Yeah. That,
They can jam
for
to.
Jake Busey to play. They can jam out, which he plays Dixie, right?
Yes, I noticed that.
Plays fucking Dixie as his go-to. And then Rico finally gives in and gets with Dizzy.
Only because his superior officer commands him to do so.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty much. He's like, what are you doing, dude? Get back there.
I give you 20 more minutes.
Don't ever pass up a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they go to the distress signal, and that's where, they have to go down this little like thing. They grab the radio guy. That's what I was saying, is it's another intelligent move by the bugs, right? That they're like, get the guy with the radio. When they find the encampment, everyone's dead. I guess except for one general or whatever that they find that had locked himself in a closet. They actually came up underneath the mess hall attacked from inside. We can see that they did something to the brain of the guy that sent out the distress signal.
Brains out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seemingly the bugs actually sent the distress signal to lure in for a trap.
Yeah.
And then, all fucking hell descends on this as big beetles, the bugs, the flying bugs, like everything is just attacking the Roughnecks.
And they just have to hold their ground. And there's like that, oh God, that scene where the general who is crying, the guy's like hysterical and he's constantly trying to justify why he hid because he knows Michael Ironside will kill him, I guess, is probably. Ironside at one point says, if you don't fight, I'll fucking shoot you myself.
Yeah.
And that general immediately is like, I had to hide. I had military secrets and like they would have known about all the tactical whatever. And he's just constantly like, oh my God, they're coming back, and like panics. And he's screaming the whole
Like
time that they're
strength is
fighting.
all that matters in this society, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
And
any
like,
weakness,
I'm sure he'd
He's-
be court-martialed or worse.
Right.
if-
probably just
yeah.
before, they'd probably just leave him before they like actually flew off or something. But like they don't have to worry about that because a flying bug comes out of nowhere, gets like shot, and then immediately just splatters him across the ground like a bug on a windshield itself. His like whole body just drags through. And they cut to Jake Busey and like Rico laughing about it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they're just like both like that fucking guy, which is an insane in the middle of the battle to be like, that's hilarious. That fucking asshole died. But yeah, then they call in like they're like, we need to get some air support here. We need the craziest fucking pilot you've got. And somebody up there is like, I know a crazy fucking pilot who knocked the communications tower off of our ship. Let's send her down. Like fucking Rob Lowe and Denise Richards show up and pick them up. And it's just like this really harrowing escape while they're firing off into the crowds of the bugs overwhelming this base. It's just a great action scene too. There's so many bugs on screen and like they all look really good for the CGI that was happening. And I love seeing like the up close shots too, where like sometimes they'll use like a practical bug. I'm pretty sure there's like some kind of practical made up close thing. But yeah, just really great battle sequence to top that.
Yeah, like
And
they're
I
all
think for-
coming in over the top of the building and surrounding them, and it's super well done.
For 1997, it's crazy how well this holds up.
Yeah.
I remember it being really, really cool at the time, but I go back and watch it. I remember being cool graphically from then. That sucks. It like looks so bad now. But this, I think it's mixing in the practical goo. Like they're constantly, there's like green goo and blood or whatever like splattered across people all the time, right? And they have some like robotic, for like close-ups. Bugs or whatever to add to it, but the like also to handle that many, right? The CGI technology has come so far, right, where they're programming it, they can handle like a crowd but to be making like thousands of bugs going up over a hill and just really great. Michael Ironsides gets in the situation that we just saw earlier, and Rico offs him, and I guess gets promoted.
Yeah, he promoted himself by killing a superior officer.
Him getting fucking bit in half after whatever tunnels in, and he's like firing wildly down below himself in the sand pit that tunnels, and then his legs just get bit off, and he's like, Rico, you know what to do. Fucking just shoot him right then and there. That's the final nail in the coffin for the humanity that may have been left within Johnny Rico. Like, he has had to take
Dizzy
another soldier's
gets
life.
it. Yeah,
Dizzy gets fucking murdered as well.
Right after she finally consummates the relationship with Johnny.
Yep.
These years of pining after this man, she finally gets what she wants, and then she just gets brutally murdered.
Yeah, she's like bleeding, and they carry her in that ship, and she's like, I like love you. And Johnny doesn't, also when she's having sex with him, she says, I love you, and he doesn't say anything back. It's just,
I don't know if it was in the book or a scene that they cut, but Rico is trying to kiss Carmen at school, like kind of like behind the bleachers kind of thing. And she won't let him, but she lets him feel her up like entirely. And she, because like showing affection, like kissing or saying I love you is
weakness.
Like too much in public, but just like being nude or having sex or whatever, no problem. Like that's,
feeling up seems like you're taking something. That seems like force.
True. Right.
The violence that is valued in
that's
society.
What they want. Anyway, so like Diz has died, and Johnny Rico now is like, I'm assuming command is Rico's Roughnecks. We're going to go on a fucking mission because we learned intelligence that there's a brain bug and it's sucking brains out of people's heads. And we gotta, this planet P it's just called P, right? Like,
I think it's called Planet P,
yeah. Planet P has like the brain bug somewhere in it. And they're like, we're going to mount a mission to find the brain bug in these caverns.
Which we find out from his old buddy from school, Neil Patrick Harris, is in his full SS jacket and lapels.
Shows up.
Explains that they knew that the bugs were probably setting a trap. And he's like, oh, too bad it was your, I feel bad that it was your troop. Sorry, buddy. But we needed that to prove that there was a brain bug that we can go get now.
Yeah, and he's like, it's my job every day to send people to their deaths and to figure out who gets to live and who gets to die. And I am God now.
Which is great that they just hug later, right?
Yeah.
Like after he pretty much says, I got Dizzy killed.
Yeah.
They're just friends to the end at the end of the movie.
They mount that assault, and like that's when we get another sequence where they're running like a full armada is coming out to deploy ships and like all these ground troops and everything to the planet, and the fucking big bugs with their blue butts are shooting those giant like orbs into the sky. And like also like, why are they flying so fucking low and getting hit by those orbs? You'd think that like you're in space, man. Like find something else but no, they make a full assembled fleet. They start getting them like knocked out.
I think they're dropping off troops. Right?
So they have to get close.
Get in and land or get.
It's still
close
really
enough.
fucking like weird.
I think it's
dumb.
that the military, like they put so much money into the military, but they don't really think it through.
They don't have any strategy.
That's kind of always my thought, right? So it's like we could have made ships that were small to land troops smartly, right? But instead we just have these shitty drop shits that we just drop them. Like, right, and we get real close to the surface. Like, none of it's thought through.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, because, like, we see so many ships that are just slowly coasting and get hit by those fucking blue things and knock into other ships and destroy them. And that's how, like, fucking Carmen and her boy toy go down. They fucking just, like, get hit and go into, like, an emergency mode. And, like, the captain is... Everybody's running and screaming, and their captain gets, like, fucking split in half by a door that's closing. And she's like, just get in the escape pods and go. And they like crash all the way through. But all of that just comes from the fact that their stupid ships have to go so low to the atmosphere and can't dodge any of that. They don't think about strategy.
Right. And this is supposed to be in the future. This is some 100 years in the future, right? Mm-hmm. Do we ever see a fucking tank or a jet fighter?
Tank. It's just we have enough people.
Right. It's all people. Everything is done by people. And the ships that have the drop ships, they don't even seem to have weapons that they use for anything, right? They never drop
carry
like
the people and the people with guns and nukes. Now that they have tiny tactical nukes, they don't need tanks, Ryan. They just have to nuke somebody and hope that it wins. Even if they're going to die, they'll carry that.
What if they
nuke to
just
their
dropped
death.
the nukes from the sky and didn't even... Weren't they supposed to be a war of pushing buttons? I guess
Yeah,
JPC was wrong.
Ryan, using your brain is weakness.
Well, they had to go
Yeah.
get the brain bug, right? And they probably were worried about killing the brain bug by accident if they were dropping.
I'm thinking of
bombs
the
down
like
there.
home planet when they
I
were
don't-
just going in to massacre.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, sure, yeah.
Doesn't
But
seem
yeah,
like they
on
were
the, I
worried
guess
about
on
that
the brain bug, they want to keep it alive.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
want to keep it alive by popping a tactical nuke inside of a cavern where it could be. I don't know if they cared or thought. They just were like, fuck it. Kill these bugs. We'll figure this shit out later.
Yeah, Carmen and her pilot buddy happen to drop exactly where the brain bug is.
Yes. They get, that's the other thing is they drop in the middle and they're like, there's another sequence where you can tell the bugs have an intelligence because they surround them, but they don't act yet. And they're kind of sizing them up and what they're going to do. But immediately both Carmen and her buddy like grab guns and that's like the only thing that the escape pod has. There's no other supplies for them or anything. It's like a comms unit and fold out guns. And that's like what they need. And they immediately are like, we're just going to fucking kill all the bugs that we can and go out in a blaze of glory. And then the bugs get the best of them and like stab them both through they incapacitate them and stab them and drag them all the way to where the brain bug is.
And then we see the brain bug, which is clearly a vagina bug.
Yes.
Just one of the wildest creature designs.
Such a
that
Paul
you'll ever
Verhoeven design,
see.
really.
Yeah.
Carried out,
Yeah,
no less. The brain bug doesn't walk. It is carried by other bugs. It just is a giant brain.
Does it move the other bugs with its brain?
Maybe it commands
I guess
them.
it tells them, carry me over there.
Yeah, but it's just clearly like a gelatinous thing that sits. It can't
it's
move
like
on its own.
Yeah, the guy in Dune, the Duke or whatever, like it pretty much is that, right?
Oh yeah,
It's
I
like
was
this
thinking
grotesque
Jabba the
fat-
Hutt, but yeah,
Got
similar.
that same
similar.
vibe, yeah. And out of its vagina mouth comes a giant stinger that's like a straw.
Straw?
It extends and like
If it's a bendy straw,
Yeah, it's a bendy
with
straw.
A point on
Yeah.
the end.
and they like
He drinks your milkshake. Sucks the brains out of Carmen's pilot buddy.
yeah, and Carmen's next, but she's stashed that knife and like you get this whole tense scene built up about how scary the brain bug is and how much it wills power. Like all the other bugs are like yielding to it and just this grand scale, like they have a hierarchy and they're really smart. And I remember at one point in the movie, they talk about how like the whole reason that they lost parts of those battles earlier is because they underestimated the bugs. They really just didn't understand them. And now they feel like they're ready for them. And I think that that's just a constant building story of like, they're making more excuses in the propaganda film of
Right.
like how and why sometimes the bugs can outsmart because we have all the weapons. We're the strongest. We're the best. But sometimes we underestimate them, but that's not really our fault. That's just a lack of information and we need more information. So we need to go further into the brain bug territory or whatever. Like
Right.
all these pretzel bending logic that they have to instill in their soldiers.
The only answer they have to anything is war.
Yes.
Right. And they're wanting to get the brain bug not to try to reason with it or anything,
They have
just to learn enough so they can kill more.
Yeah, no negotiation at all. Because Carmen like stabs the brain bug or cuts its like stem off, and then at that same point, that's when
Rico gets this like idea that he knows that Carmen's here and where she is, which we find out later. Neil Patrick Harris
planted in
telepathy
him.
to him
Maybe?
somehow. Yeah. And goes to save her. One of his buddies is like nearly dying and is holding the tactical nuke because the bug is smart enough that they have like the tactical nuke like dead man switch, like Terminator 2 dead man switched, and they back up like they are afraid of the bomb. Like they're smart enough to know what that is.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess the bomb manages not to kill the brain bug, but allows Rico and Carmen to escape.
Yeah, because the brain bug, once it gets its like stinger or suction thing cut off, it like immediately its tiny little minions like help it flee into the caves. And we don't see it ever get captured until like later after they've already done it. And it turns out that it was the fucking like drill sergeant who did it.
The drill sergeant, yeah.
Who is now a private who had talked about wanting to be demoted so he could go back into battle and combat. They're like, he got it. He's the one who captured it. And so like, it's like this happy fucking ending where Johnny Rico has saved the love of his life, even though she's fucking vapid and never really loved him. And was going to leave him for Rob Lowe, and Diz is dead. They're all like hugging with Neil Patrick Harris after, but like before that, they bring the brain bug out, and Neil Patrick Harris goes up and like puts his fucking gloved hand on it. Like that's gonna do it. Like he states like the most fucking obvious thing too. Like I'm sure he has psychic powers because he touched it after they all are surrounding it and have killed all the other bugs, and goes,
and it's like
afraid.
Wincing and freaking out. Yeah,
yeah. It's just, my God, it's afraid, and they all cheer, and you're like, oh God.
And shoot their guns in the air, and
Yeah, there's absolutely no evidence that he is psychic in this entire movie. Like, I think it's complete horseshit, and he's going to tell everybody that he planted that idea in Johnny's head because it makes him look better, and he'll get promoted for it. But like, there's no psychic ability.
The only proof is he makes a ferret run upstairs.
Yeah, that's not proof of anything.
Could be coincidental.
Yeah, it's fine.
They never show his ability to guess cards.
Yeah.
He's just testing other people.
True.
So yeah, no, I think it's all horseshit.
I agree.
Yeah, that reunion of those three characters, I think, is really interesting because it paints it as this successful thing. Like, oh, we've all grown in our careers and we've reunited and we're beating the bugs and we're moving the war effort on. And then there's this really triumphant end of the film with this propaganda footage and all this stuff. And it acts like it's a happy ending, but it's actually a really fucked up, sad, tragic ending. But if you're not paying that close attention, you're just like, oh, hey, they're moving on and winning the war. Isn't this great? And I think that's like a big part of why people misinterpret this film is because the movie shows these characters being successful. Their souls have been completely drained from their bodies, but they are, successful in the military endeavors that they're trying to accomplish.
Everybody they knew in boot camp is dead except Jake Busey. Mm-hmm. Both of their love interests are dead. They're friends of full Nazi Gestapo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all full Nazis though at this point.
Yeah, they've all become complete Nazis. They're seemingly winning the war, but we don't know that that's true at all because every step of the way they've just fucked this up. So yeah, there's really nothing good at the end. But yeah, the movie, if you follow the like tropes. Right. It seems like, at the beginning he wants the girl and then he saves her, and they've shot a bunch of bugs up. And so, yeah, it gives you all the feelings of success of a classic movie, action movie. But yeah, under the surface, it's awful.
Yeah.
So then we cap it with one more video feed of propaganda.
And we've got Johnny Rico and his Roughnecks, and everybody else is like successful, and like you see all the characters from the movie now in the propaganda kind of thing, and that's just that's how they cap it off. Is like, you could be just like this. We're winning the war. You're the one who's going to help us win it. And
and then they've got like 16-year-old recruits that they're
fresh face
putting through the ringer.
Yeah, just ready to go. Ryan, did you read the book? You did read the book, right?
I did read the book. And it's interesting because part of the reason I wanted to like revisit this is that both the book and the movie have been influential. And the movie didn't do well in the box office. It looked like a 50-50 split from critics that were either like, this is pro-fascist and didn't get it, or I guess it was too hammy for them that the satire was not worth it. I also think the satire lands so much harder year after year in this movie, because this is a pre-September 11th movie, so this feels very different now. So I definitely wanted to revisit it. The book had these like exoskeleton suits that the infantry had that actually made them a little bit more efficient, but they still all get massacred on the home planet. Like, it still kind of follows similar beats. But those actually inspired like Iron Man, and when making Alien, they all read the book, and the like design of the like big suit or whatever that's in that came from the idea from this. Like, I think Gundam, the creator, had even said like the idea of having him in a giant robot kind of came. So it's like even the book was like influential. The book is pro-military. It is not a satire of fascism. It isn't pro-fascism. I don't think it goes that far. It's in that like Michael Bay pro-military way, not which does like teeter.
It's pretty pro-fascist.
It leans itself pretty hard to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Heinlein himself served in World War II, and he felt like post-World War II, he felt that the Cold War was getting lazy,
Cold
and that
War's
he
for
had
pussies.
issues. Yeah, he had
Yeah, hot
issues that
war.
like society wasn't like strong enough, and so this kind of is not fully his pitch, but a bit of his pitch of like, hey, we should be, signing up people, and that citizenship should be something that you pride and earn. And so it has pretty good fascist undertones, pretty good. Yeah. But it is Johnny Rico. They do kind of the same stuff where they go to the big bug planet. Like several of the characters are there. And honestly, the movie kind of follows the beats while just like satirizing almost exactly the book, like kind of taking the opposite message and pushing it the other way around. And then I would say then the movie kind of had this like home video boom and grew legs from there, and directly influenced like StarCraft, the like Marines and the Zerg in the video game are definitely like based on this, and even more recent like the Helldivers game. But I think that there were multiple movies and books and games that took directly from this movie of people that watched it and liked it and then went on and made their own stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I remember watching it at home on home video rather than going to the movies and actually getting to see it. But it flopped, right, when it came out? Did it flop, or was it just that it was panned critically?
It kind of advertised itself as a sci-fi action movie. Okay. And then kind of right before it came out, a lot of the critics came out and said it was pro-fascism. And so then people were kind of like, I don't know about this. And it's rated R.
Yeah.
So then, you're missing the like PG-13 audience potentially. And so it wasn't doing too well. The word of mouth wasn't great. And then Titanic came out like a week or two later and it just got completely forgotten about because it already wasn't doing so well. And so, I think it's a mix of like, it wasn't marketed well. Fascists saw it as fascist, I guess.
Fascists loved it.
Yeah. Some critics just didn't get it. And, it kind of like ran under the radar, but it did do really well in home video. And then it proceeded to have those sequels that were straight to video or straight to YouTube or whatever. I think there's been even more recent like continued media in this franchise, none of which I think understands what the original movie was at all, just capitalizing on the name.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to me that this even got made in the first place. It was like $100 million budget to make this movie in 1997. And, I know Verhoeven had been successful with RoboCop and Total Recall, but then he did Showgirls. I'm pretty sure that was a huge flop.
It was.
Yes, it was. That killed
he's
careers.
getting back into, the sci-fi genre. Maybe they thought it was more of a moneymaker, but there's no major actors in this. Like Denise Richards is famous, but I don't know that she was like movie star. She's not carrying
this
a movie
was like
in 1997.
Yeah, this was before she really got it. Like this is before Wild Things, and like this was pretty early in her career.
Undercover Brother.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The movie that made her.
I didn't say she had good movies. I just said early in her career. There are movies she's famous for after this that are also terrible.
Yeah. But like it's crazy to me that they put so much money into this thing. They made it so well, but there are no stars in it, and it's like a blatant like fascist satire, tongue-in-cheek movie. Like that's not a mass appeal type of thing, so I'm kind of shocked that he was able to pull this off and even just get it made, and that they even made, I think in theaters, I read that it made like 125 million or something globally. I'm like, hey, they made, probably with the marketing costs, they didn't make back their budget, but they at least, made more than it cost to make the film, and then probably made a bunch on home video. That's kind of better than I would expect them to do for this kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think it kind of limped into making money. And this was kind of that time where movies could end up not doing too well at the theater, but then get word of mouth at home. Mm-hmm. And, rentals were so, it was kind of, I'm pretty certain.
Or the Dollar Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, reruns of the Dollar Theater.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I watched Jurassic Park a number of times in the Dollar Theater.
Me and the Punisher go way back in the Dollar Theater.
Yep. And I'm fairly certain I did not see this in the theater, but I'm pretty certain my dad rented it, and I watched it either in 97 or 98, probably not too long after it came out. Interestingly, it is the kind of movie I think my dad probably thought going into it was a sci-fi action movie. And and he likes sci-fi, and he knows Heinlein and the original book, and so I think he probably thought that was what it was going to be. But we both sat there and laughed hysterically at it and totally got that it was a satire. And afterwards, we're like, wow, that was great.
Well, Ryan.
Yeah. So
Bring it
I
home.
guess it still has legs. I think it's interesting to see
So many legs.
how far
Yeah.
it's come.
If
Yeah.
one of those legs was blown off, it would be 67%
It'd
as
still be-
effective still.
still be effective. Yeah, I guess wrapping it up, I wanted to revisit this to see if it felt, still was as fun and funny as I remember and as biting satirically, and try to look at it a little bit to see why people don't quite get it. And I do think that Dixon, to your point, the hamminess of the acting, and that kind of just is a Verhoeven thing that it works for some people and doesn't work for others.
Yeah.
Like the acting in his other movies is also really weird or wooden at times. And I guess in RoboCop he's a robot, so that's okay.
And then Total Recall is Schwarzenegger, so
It's
you just gotta
Schwarzenegger,
get what
yeah.
you get.
Yeah. And some of his dialogue is really bad or quite cheesy in his movies. And I do think it works for what he's going for. But yeah, it's you have to kind of buy into that.
I don't have an
do think
issue with
those
the
are weaker
style.
parts.
He has an issue with Casper Van Dien.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I actually think Casper Van Dien and somewhat Denise Richards are the weaker parts of this. And the people he has around them, that he knew before that he's worked with, fit perfectly into what they are. Like Michael Ironsides is perfect in, what he's
Busey
supposed to
is
be.
great.
Yeah.
The
right.
drill sergeant's great. There's a
Yeah,
lot of characters that work.
If he could have found just the right person for Rico, just a little bit more looking, I think it would have brought it up, elevated it a little bit more.
What if they got Charlie Sheen? Somebody who
Yeah.
has that cheesy aspect to it, but can act a little bit and have a little bit of charisma. I think it might have landed a little better.
Might have hit a little bit better, yeah. Agree. But overall, I recommend it. I've recommended it a number of times. I still think it's great. I love the satire. The graphics surprisingly hold up. And yeah, I think the weaker parts of the film, just it doesn't really matter because you give into it. I'll also call out one thing I hadn't noticed before. They play Fade Into You in the background at one point. I think there's a couple times there's contemporary 90s music in this that I was like, what? Why were they doing that? And they didn't even use it
Just
to
weird.
where it was worth paying for it. It was just a weird little aside. John, would you recommend Starship Troopers?
Yeah, I would recommend it. It's kind of hard not to because you can enjoy it on multiple levels. You can turn your brain off, and it's an action movie that probably you don't learn your lessons from. You can keep your brain on and enjoy being tickled by the satire of it and all of the different sequences that happen and the random fucking fun choices that Paul Verhoeven has decided to make out of this original pro-war book adaptation. I was just looking up real quick just 1-star reviews because I wanted to know on Letterboxd what we had, and this one comes from East Clintwood. And it says, wow, of course a movie like this ain't allowed to take itself seriously, but where are the jokes? Where is the fun? Where is the originality? Just utter bullshit. Ugh.
There's so much jokes and fun and originality in this movie.
There's a lot of really entertaining 1-star reviews on Letterboxd. If you have a movie that you absolutely love and think it's gold, somebody out there has a dog shit take about it, and it's hilarious. So I encourage everybody to look at that. But I also recommend Starship Troopers.
Dixon?
Yeah, hard recommend Starship Troopers. It's great. It's so much fun. Yeah, Casper Van Dien's a problem, but everything else works really well. So
That's just outside of the movie. Casper Van Dien is a problem.
Yeah, we need to talk about it as a society. No, but it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun. It's incredibly insightful, and just as any anti-war satire gets more relevant by the day. So definitely would highly recommend checking it out. Ryan, what did Logan think about this?
He really enjoyed it. I told him ahead of time, beforehand, I was like, hey, just so you're aware, this is a satire, right, of military fascism, militaristic, kind of just had a conversation real quick of what satire was. And the idea that sometimes satire is so good it's impossible to tell.
Yeah.
And that I don't think that this movie is that, which is what's still surprising to me. I don't think that this is like so good it's hard to tell. But you know, we had a little quick discussion about that, and then almost immediately, like he got it. He clearly had it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I don't know why I was worried because it's right on. And like he's caught, you know, a few of the things that we watched, like Harold and Maude. There was the scene with his like uncle or whatever that's in the military that was like also clear, and he got that right, where he's like, oh, what's the traitor or whatever, where he's like, we should all want to be like him, and Logan's like, the American traitor. Like, so he gets, I was like, okay, you know, I have faith now that he gets that kind of stuff, so I'm glad.
Nice. You raised him right.
Yeah,
there you go, Ryan.
I knew it was
Good
time.
Yeah.
It was the right
now
time
you have to
bring
teach
in
him the
Starship
difference
Troopers.
between being a citizen and being a civilian. That's the next lesson.
Yeah. So he also watched Fifth Element with me, Fifth Element. The fuck?
Why would
Total
you watch?
Recall.
Why would you show him Fifth Element?
Actually,
I was like,
Fifth
what?
Element came out in 1997. I think that's why my mind it was.
You're like, yeah, you watch that. That's gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain that fucking movie to Logan.
No, I don't know. That was still back on the table. No, we watched Total Recall a few months ago together as well, and he enjoyed that one. Not satirical, but another Verhoeven piece. I recommend Total Recall, Basic Instinct,
Doing all the Verhovens.
RoboCop. Yeah,
It's like when Dixon recommended all of the Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Yeah, Showgirls.
I recommend
mixed.
it.
I think it's in that like it's bad that it's good kind of spot. So it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort put into Showgirls. It's kind of inspiring, but yeah, the rest of the movie is not well written or good.
I have not seen Showgirls. So.
It's a wild time.
Yeah.
I know that it's one of the movies that you'll come out of being like, wow, that was bad. I just know Dixon will come out of it and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Now I understand why Verhoeven stopped making movies for a little while.
Yeah, why he took a little bit of a break. All right. Well, that brings us to a close. That's 3 recommends. Run out, do your part, watch Starship Troopers. I've been your host, Ryan King. Joining me tonight,
John Garcia. Come on, you apes. You want to record forever? Let's end this episode.
and also
Michael Dixon, would you like to know more
About this bullshit.
bullshit.